channel. Hello, beautiful people. Hey, it's me, Essence from the internet. As you can tell from the title of this video, today we are going to be talking about I keep losing my train of thought. I promise I know what this video is about. As you can tell from the title of this video, today we are going to be talking about personal growth book recommendations. A new year calls for a new mindset. I've had a lot of people ask me books I'd recommend specifically in this department, and I'm really excited to tap into it because I've read many personal growth books for the mind, the soul, the body, all of the above, and these are 5 books I'm going to be sharing with you all today that have significantly changed the way I think. These are books I think about on a daily or weekly basis. Every day I'm putting something into practice or feeling a shift in my mind and my approach to something. So hopefully it can do the same from you. Hopefully you can take something positively away from this video because, like I said, we're renewing our mindset. We're manifesting all things fine and divine, and I hope these books can be used as tools in order for you to do so. That being said, let's get into it. So these are our 5 books we're going to be diving into today. I like to think of my book related videos and content as one big visual reading experience. We're going to be breaking this video up into 7 sections. Right now, as you know, we're in the introduction. We have 5 chapters, and in each of those I'm going to be talking about each of the 5 books, and I want to go over notable quotes, my biggest takeaways, summaries of the books, all of the above. And then last but certainly not least, our final section, we have our closing remarks. Stay along for the ride, or the read I guess I should say, and I hope you enjoy. I also think these have served their purpose, so let us carry on. Starting off strong for chapter 1, we have The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. I don't know if it became popular when I finished reading it or if I didn't know how popular it was when I read it, but I feel like as soon as I flipped to the end of the last page, I started seeing this book everywhere. It is such a success, and after reading it I can completely see why. This book basically follows 2 characters, and it's a very interesting book because although it is fictional, it has very non-fictional practical conversations and dialogue amidst these 2 characters. The whole book is literally one long conversation. This conversation takes place between a character that is known as the youth and another character known as the philosopher. The youth is kind of a general representation of not only the youth in society today, but rather the closed-minded, the occasional know-it-all, the ego a little bit. So we see a little bit of ourselves in this character as well, just as much as we do in the philosopher, who's more so the wisdom, the rationale, the equally yoked, a lot of balance. It's very balanced and intellectual and open individual, and so you can see you in both of these characters. And it's so interesting because there will be points in the conversation had between the 2 where the philosopher will make a great point. I'll think something to myself to counter that point, and then the youth says it and I'm like, oh, I feel so seen. And then the philosopher will counter it with an even greater argument or just an interesting differentiating perspective, and it's like, oh, it's so good. Reading this book honestly feels like witnessing a really open-minded, insightful, conscious conversation, and I love a conscious, intentional, divine discussion, and that's what this book is. I guess an idea as to some of the many things that are discussed within this book would be finding oneself, blaming external factors for an issue, or blaming ourselves. It's a lot of back and forth, a lot of different dynamics that are mentioned. They literally discuss so much. So I guess that concludes the summary of the book, and now for our takeaway. One of the main key takeaways I got from this book is that every problem is an interpersonal relationship problem, and we see this mentioned and said time and time again in this book. And basically what that means is, at the end of the day, every problem is a matter of perspective. It's a matter of your internal journey, where you are, how you choose to perceive it, and how your relationship looks within yourself. It's about the relationship you have with you that changes the way we see life, that changes the way we see thyself. Another thing I really like about this book is there are truly moments where it can be difficult at times to comprehend a new mentality or a new reality, and even this book acknowledges that there'll be moments where the philosopher will make a point that is almost gravity defying to the state of the youth's mind, and he'll respond with, hold on a second, my head is starting to hurt, my brain is about to burst, let's just pause and sit in this moment for a second. It is so real and so relatable and so reassuring as well. You feel seen in a different way while reading this book when those little moments occur. I want to talk a little more about the title and interpersonal relationships for a second. Again, the title is The Courage to be Disliked, and what a great deal of courage it does take to not give a flying no to rest. To choose one's own path despite the odds of society, parents, friends, the expectations around them. It does take a great deal of courage, and this book does a well job at guiding you through it and taking you by the hand and showing you not only is it possible, but it starts with you. Hence interpersonal relationships. How we choose to see our situation, how we choose to see someone else is a reflection of how we choose to see ourselves and our relationship with ourselves as well. This book was so amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. And now for our notable quotes. People can change at any time, regardless of the environments they are in. You are unable to change only because you are making the decision not to. Page 34. What other people think when they see your face, that is the task of other people, and it is not something you have any control over. Page 130. And that is the courage to be disliked. Chapter 2. The subtle art of not giving up. Another super popular book, and how could you possibly miss it as you're walking through the store? It's so bright, it's so vibrant, it is such an eye catcher, and clearly it caught my eye. I read this book when I was about 16 years old. I was in high school, or I might have been 15, definitely somewhere around that age. I found this book in a time where I just felt so over consumed with the thoughts and the opinions of others. I felt like what a gift it would be to just abandon all the external opinions and to just not care. For one, as someone who cares deeply and immensely about many things, how nice would be to just breathe for once and not have to do any of it. And so I read this book and it opened my eyes to many things. One, I want to start by saying great read and lots of references as well. So if you're someone who loves to have something solid to refer to as far as evidence or a study that's been held or something along those lines, this book definitely has a few of those, which I appreciate it. And there's even some visuals as far as photos and everything. But I really want to get right into the takeaways. I feel like the title kind of explains itself as far as what this book is about. But one thing I do really appreciate about it, it's not so much telling you to not care. It's more so teaching you to be selective what you choose to care for. Your care, your love, your concern, these are all gifts. These are all privileges. Just be mindful with whom and what gets that from you. So that's definitely one of the big takeaways from this book. Another takeaway, which some may find controversial, and they even speak about the potential controversy in the book, is suffering is a choice. I thought this was interesting. And the book basically goes on to say that pain is inevitable. We're all going to experience pain or sorrow or sadness or grief at some point in this life. Otherwise, you just not living for real. And it talks about how although that pain is inevitable, that pain is unavoidable, choosing to suffer is. And basically what that means is every day when you wake up, you choose how your day is going to go. You choose the way to perceive it. You choose the way to look at life. Life isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens for you. And choosing that mentality, again, is a choice. Life is all about choices. You look left, you look right. How do I want to perceive the situation? Because in the end, the only thing you can control is the outcome, the lens of which you choose to perceive a situation. And that's another takeaway I received from this book. Lastly, I have one more takeaway I want to talk about that I thought was interesting, and it is basically the fact that life is measured by death. In other words, if tomorrow was our last day on earth, what would really matter? What would we care most for? What would we want to spend that last day doing? It really puts a lot of the measurement of life into perspective as far as, what really makes me happy? What really brings me joy? Who would I really want to spend my time with if tomorrow was my last day on earth? So it makes you think about a few things like that. And the author talks about this moment, and I remember it so vividly, where he's walking to the edge of a cliff. And as he's getting closer and closer and closer to the edge of this cliff, it feels as though everything in his body, every nerve, every vessel, every instinct is pulling him the opposite way. Our bodies are such natural protectors and healers of us. And so his body is fighting him internally, like, please turn around, get us away from this cliff. And he walks and he sits at the edge of it. It is in that moment when he's sitting at the edge of this cliff and he's thinking about life and the weight of what it means, and how bodies do everything it can to protect it and maintain it. In that moment, so close to death, he realizes the value and the weight of life. And I thought that was a beautiful takeaway and mention that I was able to gather from the book. And now, for notable quotes. If suffering is inevitable, if our problems in life are unavoidable, then the question we should be asking is not how do I stop suffering, but why am I suffering? For what purpose? By spending the majority of my short life avoiding what was painful and uncomfortable, I had essentially been avoiding being alive at all. Death is the light by which the shadow of all of life's meaning is measured. Page 195. See, I can tell you about a book, but doesn't it hit a little different when I show you the quotes? They speak for themselves. Next up, we have Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. This book was recommended to me by someone a couple years ago, and I'm so glad it was because phenomenal read. This is one of those books I think about on a weekly, daily basis, especially if I'm ever feeling overwhelmed or nervous about something. I tend to channel some of the things I learned from this book specifically. Oh, well, I guess we'll get to that in the takeaway. Stay tuned. But Think Like a Monk basically follows Jay Shetty's journey, and he talks about going from a young, kind of lost youth, finding his way into becoming a monk, leaving being a monk, and everything in between. He dives into his journey. He talks about the different people he meets on this journey. Former rock stars, former criminals, former this, former that, who all became a monk. He dives into how similar we all are despite our differences as well. He talks about different things we can implement into our everyday lives to break out of cycles, to actively practice being a better you. For example, one thing I found myself doing that often reminds me of this book is, I guess, breaking out of society's cycle. If you let it, life can become very repetitive. It can become a never-ending series of, hi, how are you? How's work? What'd you think of the weather? And Jay Shetty talks about this, and he talks about ways to break out of that cycle and seeing people as people. I had someone tell me the other day, they were like, Essence, I love how you give people unique compliments. And that was such a unique compliment I was happy to receive, because I really do actively try to see someone not for what they are, but rather who they are. So looking beyond the job, beyond the title, the ego, beyond the expectations society has projected upon us, I do try to see past that and see the soul, and he talks about that and different things we can do in order to do that and break that repetitive cycle that life can easily become. Beautiful, beautiful book. My mom, she actually surprised me a little while back with a trip to go see Jay Shetty live, and he gave a speech, and it was actually a tour for his other book that I have here that we're going to get into as well. But wonderful experience. It felt so surreal. It felt nice to see the man I'd read so much about in regards to his work. Just great book if you're looking to shift your mentality, to build healthier habits, to feel good. This book makes you feel good. As for takeaways, you can find plenty in this book, but the one that I think truly helped me shape and reform my life in the best way is he talks about breath work. One of the first things to respond to you feeling very high or very low is your breathing. If you can control your breathing, then you can control your feelings. Once you are able to work on that and gain control on that, it is a way of gaining control of yourself once more. And quite frankly, in this life, you are the only one, the only being, the only thing you can control. Use that to your advantage. There's so much power in self-discipline. One breathwork technique that stood out to me that is mentioned in this book is what I like to call the 4-for-4 method. And basically, if you're ever feeling very anxious or nervous, or you just need to take a beat, inhale for 4 seconds, hold it, exhale for 4 seconds. We can even, let's do it together real quick. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a little behind the scenes. I don't know if I've ever shared this before. I do public speaking. This is something that has helped me so much doing public speaking and speaking to large audiences over the years. The 4-for-4 breath technique. You heard it here and in Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. Now, as for notable quotes, there are so many. I don't even know where I begin. I have so much highlighted and annotated in here. Ooh, first one I found. So much is lost in bad communication. Page 36. I say this all the time. Mutual respect, communication, and understanding can go such a long way. Such a long way. To just sit and have a conversation, I think could save so many lives, heal so many souls. That's a real one. That's pretty good. Tell me why I just looked at some of the footage I made as far as the quotes. Okay, so my mic keeps dying, so we will not be using it anymore. But as for quotes, let's run that back. We weren't done. So much is lost in bad communication. Page 36. This hits because I could not agree more. I truly believe so much could be resolved with mutual communication, respect, understanding. Honestly, a good conversation could go so far. It can mend a mind and heal a soul. It is truly full of potential and impact. 'Tis the power of the tongue. Detachment is not that you own nothing, but that nothing should own you. Page 165. Ooh, and another thing. I'm excited to get to this quote because it just reminded me of it. But there was something I always did. I would use this tool, this trait to relax my mind, center myself, focus on the present. And I didn't realize this was an exercise like some psychologists would even recommend to help steady the mind and help you be present. And he talked about it in this book, and I remember reading that for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. So other people out here doing this. Like, I just thought that was so cool. The quote just says, truly noticing what's around us keeps our brains from shifting to autopilot. Page 133. So I'm gonna break something down for y'all real quick. If you're ever feeling stressed or nervous or in your head about something, take a moment to breathe and center yourself. Think of all of your 5 senses. What are you smelling in that moment? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? I want you to think about every last toe on your foot and where it extends and the blade of grass it graces and touches. Think about the hair you feel behind your ear. Think about the wind caressing your face. Think about what you taste. Think about all of these things, and it will actively help you be present because you'll realize you're no longer in here, but rather you're here, you're present, you're in the moment, you're with us, and we're happy to have you. Next, we have 8 Rules of Love. Now, Jay Shetty actually went on a tour for 8 Rules of Love. It was the 8 Rules of Love tour, and this is the tour that my mom actually took me to go see him speak in Atlanta, and it was so wonderful. He definitely had a way of making a room so big and so full of people feel so intimate and whole and united, and it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. But let's get into the book. So I'm looking here at the table of contents, and what better way to summarize the book than quickly run through the 8 rules of love. So we have rule number 1, let yourself be alone. Rule number 2, don't ignore your karma. Rule number 3, define love before you think it, feel it, or say it. Rule number 4, your partner is your guru. Rule number 5, purpose comes first. Rule number 6, win or lose together. Rule number 7, you don't break in a breakup. And last but certainly not least, rule number 8, love again and again. That is the 8 rules of love, ladies and gentlemen. On a serious note, throughout the book, he basically just talks about love and what it looks like in different shapes, sizes, forms, your relationship with yourself, the love you have with your parents, the love you have with your partner, the love you have with life itself. He goes through all of these things and how we can not allow one to negatively impose upon another. And it's really beautifully done. This is, as for takeaways, I guess we're getting straight into them. Literally wrote in my notes just that this is the first and only nonfiction book to ever grant an emotional reaction from me. This book had me shedding a tear or two. It really does hit. It really does feel like such an intimate read, and Jay Shetty does a wonderful job at empathizing and making you feel seen and heard, also giving you the tools as to what to do with those feelings, because they have a purpose, and now we can decipher what that purpose is and how to execute it and contribute to the betterment of you. So beautiful book. I'm gonna meet this man one day, y'all, because he is such a great, 1, excellent speaker, 2, just great mindset, mentality, and yeah, we're speaking into existence. Just to have a conversation, I'm gonna meet Jay Shetty one day. We gonna chop it up and chat about life and the mind and so on and so forth. Ooh, just the thought of it makes me feel good. That's gonna happen. And as for quotes, some of the best experiences are experiments when you and your partner set out to try something new together. How you handle your differences is more important than finding your similarities. Page 89. This quote always excites me when I read it or think of it, and it just says, love often starts with this thrilling hint of possibility. It means you intrigue me, I want more. Page 81. Love grows by practice. There's no other way. You are lovable, I promise. We build confidence by making time for the things that matter to us. Very, very true. Page 28. One of the things I learned is when you actively make time for you and make it a priority, it builds confidence. You are quite literally teaching yourself that you are worth prioritizing, and you are. Okay, ladies and gents, that is 8 rules of love. Next, so excited about this one. We have Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I don't want to talk too much about this book because I can make a whole video alone about this book. This is my favorite memoir. It is the best memoir I've ever read. Matthew McConaughey is an excellent storyteller, and I highly recommend listening to the audiobook while reading the actual book. It's such a immersive experience, and it's so well told and well executed, and love. The book basically follows Mr. McConaughey talking about his life journey from boy to man to actor to husband to father to all of these things, and it's a journey. It's definitely a journey. He talks about dreams he's had, like literal went to bed, had a dream, woke up, and wrote about it. He tells us about those little moments. He talks about his travels and solo trips he's taken and what he learned and the people he met and those of which he still keeps in contact with. He talks about him breaking into the industry and how all odds were against him, and yet somehow everything lined up accordingly. He talks about love and loss, and oh, it's just so good. His family dynamic, the first time he left the country and went out to Australia as an exchange student. He talks about all of these things and the different things he learned about life, about himself, and takeaways. Let's just get to the takeaways because I could just gush about this book and go on and on and on. So I took a little look at my notes over there, and my 3 takeaways from Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights: be fearless, own your crap, and know your worth. And these are 3 things we do continuously see him do throughout the book. Specifically the own your crap part, I love it because we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. We're all imperfect beings. Own every last one of them. That's yours. Stand on it. You learn from it. It happened, and you've grown from it. Own that too. So he just acknowledges all of those things and takes you on a beautiful journey with him. And if I must say, there are worse voices to listen to. So yeah, be sure to check out the audiobook too, and let me know if you'd want a full video specifically surrounded by Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. It's a great one, and I think I may be ending this video with this book going last because it's everything. It's so amazing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope it found you at a good time. It's the beginning of the year and we've got nothing but time and opportunity, so let's use it to our advantage. These books have all significantly positively impacted my life. I hope they can do the same for you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your year. I'll see you soon. With that being said, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff you already know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.